Eli Wiesel was born and raised in rural Romania. In 1944, when he was 15, he, along with his mother, father, 3 sisters, and the rest of the district's Jewish population, were deported to Auschwitz. Immediately upon their arrival, his mother and younger sister were murdered. His father was worked until he could work no more, and then beaten to death. Eli and his 2 older sisters survived. After some years in France, including university studies in Paris, Wiesel emigrated to the United States, where he pursued a long and distinguished career in journalism, academia, and advocacy for human rights, holding before the world the memory of the Holocaust. A spiritual man whose Judaism had nearly cost him his own life, as it had cost the lives of his parents, sister, and many friends, and which inspired all his significant achievements, Wiesel nonetheless described himself as an agnostic. In the US, he met and came to know Menachem Schneerson, a rabbi who was considered by many who knew him to be quite extraordinarily wise and saintly. On one occasion, Wiesel asked, "Rabbi, how can you believe in the name of the Lord after the Holocaust?" The rabbi responded, "And how can you not believe in the name of the Lord after the Holocaust?" One question did not answer the other. One question did not cancel the other. One question did not resolve the other. But these 2 questions, how can you believe and how can you not believe, mark out the territory, the arena in which the life of faith is lived. Our Old Testament reading today invites us into that territory, that arena in which the life of faith is lived. It tells a strange story, a story which leaves many questions unanswered and unanswerable. What happened? Why did it happen? With whom was Jacob wrestling? Why does the Bible contain this story? Why does it tell such an extraordinary story in such a matter-of-fact way? The truth of the matter is that we will never find a quick and clear meaning in this story. It contains no straightforward message. Every possible explanation will leave other things unexplained or even inexplicable. It is fraught with uncertainty and confusion. And does that remind you of anything? It makes me think of life itself, fraught with uncertainty and confusion. I wonder if there really is anybody who can truly say that this has not been their experience, at least at some point in their lives. When growing up, trying to work out who you are, trying to figure out what to do. In working life, many people have the feeling that they are making things up as they go along, sure that everyone else is much more competent and in control, scared of being found out. In family life, many parents feel that they're just kind of muddling through, hoping that they're doing the right thing by their child, terrified that they might not be. In middle life, many contend with the imponderable questions over care for elderly relatives or preparing for their own retirement. Many worry about if or how they can make disintegrating relationships any better. In old age, we worry about long-term health, about whether to stay put or to move into other accommodation, about how we will cope with the loss of bodily strength or the loss of cognitive ability. This story of Jacob is a story about a man whose life is fraught with confusion and uncertainty. Not just this little bit, but so much else besides. But this night, that confusion and uncertainty seems particularly acute. His hanging back alone after he had sent his wives, children, servants, livestock, and possessions over the river speaks of this confusion and uncertainty. What lay ahead for him? How would he be received? What did the future hold? This night alone became a long night of the soul. It is, for Jacob, where confusion and uncertainty stand in the ground between belief and unbelief, in the territory in which the life of faith is lived. Someone brimming with self-confidence imagines that they have no need of God. They are enough, and more than enough in themselves. But this is not Jacob. In him there is a gnawing lack of confidence, an uncertainty about what lies ahead, born of a knowledge of what he has done in the past. In the darkness of his soul, he is desperate for the light of guidance from one who knows better, one less uncertain, one less confused. Though I am aware of its inadequacies, I am drawn to the idea that this is a story about an inner struggle. Of course, this is an ancient story, and we can never know what was in the mind of the writer. But the idea of inner struggle seems to me to resonate strongly, because struggle is so much a part of life and of faith. More and more, I am coming to relate to God through the prism of that short but in ways almost inexplicable biblical phrase, God is love. That phrase helps my mind approach a realization of God everywhere, in everything. and to leave aside a perhaps more limiting view of God as being external to that which I see and experience every day. To hold that God is love seems to me to affirm a perfection of goodness which we cannot attain, but towards which we strive. We see evil, we see pain, we see cruelty and suffering, and if we're honest, sometimes we even contribute to these things. But we know, we believe, we hope that these things are neither permanent nor inevitable, that they do not have the last word, that there is a perfection of goodness, of love, embodied by God, towards whom we strive. Jacob knew his own past history, his thieving, his trickery, his deception, and he knew that that was not right. And he was now striving towards God, towards goodness, towards love. But like in so many, maybe us all, a struggle raged between what he was and what he should be. And as the story tells us, it was an even match. All night, Jacob struggled. The story tells of a single night, but this, I think, was a struggle of a lifetime. The lifetime struggle in which we all contend. It was a struggle for Jacob which was only resolved in accepting lifelong weakness. Ever after, he limped. Should we think that God injured him with a below-the-belt debilitating blow? No. But God has made us weak, for all we like to imagine otherwise. And it is in weakness that God comes to us, our weakness and his. The accepting of weakness was not the only sign that Jacob had struggled with God. He now goes by a new name. Jacob, the name which carries with it connotations of cheating, is left behind. Now he is Israel, meaning one who has striven with God and with human beings and has prevailed. He has dared to make his life in the arena in which the life of faith is lived. That place between absolute certainties, that place of struggle. Like me, you may have been told that if you just believe, all will be well. Your troubles will be over, and God will take care of everything. But maybe like me, you found that that was not your experience. You believe, you have faith, but troubles continue. Whoever wrote this strange story was, I think, pointing to that reality. The reality which Rabbi Menachem Schneerson encouraged Elie Wiesel to consider, even as he reflected upon the most awful horrors human beings have ever inflicted on one another. For some, the life of faith may be uninterrupted bliss and tranquility. But the wrestling of Jacob by the Jabbok River strongly suggests otherwise. Faith did not come easy to the man from whom the whole people of Israel would be descended. And why should it? Why should it come easy to any of us? It may be that the beginning of the struggle of faith is to acknowledge this truth, that actually faith in God, no matter what we may have been told, no matter what we may have tried to believe, is not easy, is not a solution to problems, is not an unremitting comfort. Whatever else we take from this story, I think we should take this. If faith is authentic, if faith is not just to be a comfort blanket which gets discarded if it no longer seems to work, if faith is for life and not just for an hour of feeling good on a Sunday morning, then faith is really about struggle, internal struggle, struggle with God. For it is in the struggle that we shall be changed and become more truly the people we should be. Amen.